We have been in a series. This is the third one. I could go another one, but I've got some other things I don't want to do next week. We need to do some more vision casting next week. Next week we're going to talk about the power of unity and how important it is that we walk in unity and be of one mind and of one heart. It's going to be, I can already tell you, it's going to be a powerful message if it's received. It's also going to be an ouch message if you're not one who wants to walk in unity. Hello. Because I'm serious. I believe the Lord wants to do powerful things through this body. But there has to be a one mindset, a one-man mindset. And it doesn't take away your personal priesthood before God at all. It just means unifying together to where we're all doing the same thing and we're all 100% sold out for what we believe God's doing, and we're willing to walk in leadership, and we're willing to tell the devil to take a flying leap, and we're willing to, whatever it is that the enemy throws up, we just cast it off. We got to be more like a duck. We got to let water flow off our back and just go on. You were made for water. So I'll just leave it at that. This morning we're going to get in the last of our series on, we've been calling Get Back Up. First message was you got to get back up. The second message was you got to get back on. The third message is now you got to get on with it. Now you got to get on with it. You got to get on with the plan of God for your life. And we started with the scripture in Hebrews chapter 12, beginning at verse 12. It says, "Therefore strengthen the hands that are weak and the knees that are feeble." That's a command. That's not a suggestion. It is our responsibility, those of us who have strength, those of us who have maturity, those of us who have been through some stuff and we've got up and gone on with what God has for us. We are commanded by the writer of Hebrews, therefore strengthen the hands that are weak and the knees that are feeble. We're supposed to help people get back up and make straight paths for your feet. Notice this, strengthen the hands that are weak and the knees that are feeble. We're to do that for others, but we, as we are doing that, are supposed to make straight paths for our feet so that the limb which is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. You see, our response to a situation that comes into our lives can either leave us crippled for life, where when we try to walk further along with the Lord without being healed up, we can actually be hurt further. And it is not the plan of God that you and I be hurt further along as we go in ministry. His intention is that we mature to the place that we're able to be warriors, that no matter what comes against us, we know how to respond properly to that thing. You see, in the beginning, it's just a natural process of the way things are. It's a maturing process. It may be fleshly, but it's just the way it is. In the early beginning, and some people never get past this, when things come into our lives, when we get knocked off our donkey, whatever it is, the natural response is to react. And whatever is in you at the moment that happens is what's going to come out. And sadly, most of the time, what is in us when that happens is not always the best reaction. The Lord wants to move us to a place that we are so filled with Him that we respond as He would have responded. Now that preaches way easier than it's practiced. But that is what God has for you and I. We are to be people that respond in a Christ-like manner, then react according to the flesh. Now, the most difficult thing to do after we have been knocked down is not just to get back up, not just to get back on, but rather to get on with life. Because life moves on with us or without us. Now, I don't know about you, but When I've been knocked down, I wish the world would just stop so I don't have to deal with it for a while. Anybody else in here? Something came into your life. You got sucker punched by the enemy. You messed up. The situation became larger than life, and it has engulfed seemingly all your time, all your thinking, all your energy. The problem is life keeps going on around you. You had the same struggles and trials and problems before that thing sucker punched you that you did afterwards. And I have literally sat on my front porch in the past and said, God, would you please just freeze the world? Y'all, what is it? What is that? Not marbles of whatever it is, but where that guy that can just freeze time. This just came to my head in the, X-Men. Yeah, X-Men, where they can just. I wish I could have that power. Thank God, there's another one in here like me. I wish I could just freeze everything and let me keep moving through so I can deal with what I need to deal with, and then when I'm ready I can just flip the switch and everything goes back on. But it doesn't work that way. Life's not like that. And that is one of the greatest challenges you and I have to face when a situation that large, that big comes into our lives, is we have to keep living life that's already going on around us, as well as deal with the situation we are in to the best of our ability. Can I get a witness on that? Anybody with me on that? That's why it's so important for us not to only get back up, not only to get back on, but to also get on with it even before we think we are able to do so. That's key. The Lord sent me here today. As I was studying, I sensed the presence of the Lord so strong. The Lord sent me here today to encourage you to get on with it. Just get back up, get back on, and get on with life. Because you see, here's the deal. Life is too short. And there are too many opportunities that are to be had in life and that can be life-changing if we're willing to get up and get on with it. In other words, if I refuse, if I believe I'm too hurt, if I don't want to get back up, life's going to go on, and I'm going to have to come to that place to where I have to decide, am I going to miss a part of life? Am I going to miss opportunities that God's going to bring my way because I'm going to go ahead and move with Him because I have refused to get up and go on? Or am I going to choose to get up and walk on with the Lord, even though at the time it may feel like I can't go on? You see, you can't. I used to say this all the time, and I guess it's time to use it again. You cannot steer a parked car. You can't steer a parked car. You can turn me up just a little bit. Turn me up just a little bit. You can't steer a parked car. You can have the greatest car in the world. It can be full of gas. You can have turned the key on the ignition and the engine can be running and you can be going, man, what a great car I have. How many places can I go? But you are going nowhere until you put it in gear and mash on the accelerator and begin to move. And a lot of folks are waiting on God to come and pick them up and take them somewhere when God is saying, I need you to simply start moving again. And once you start moving again, I will direct you in the path that you should go. I wish somebody would get with it this morning with me, because God is waiting on us. I have come to understand that it's not us waiting on God so much as it is God waiting on us to move. And when the Bible speaks of waiting on the Lord, it does not mean inactivity. There may be that moment, there may be that season that we are in, that we have the car in gear and we're trying to move, but it's not moving as fast as we want to. That's what it means to wait on the Lord, because He's put a governor on us. You have to be a mechanic to understand that. He's decided he's not going to let the car run but so fast in that season, so no matter how fast you want to go, you can have the pedal to the metal. You can be in high gear. You can be wanting to go, and it's just kind of like it's in slow motion. But it's not that you're not moving. It's just that you're having to wait on the Lord to be released in a greater measure. But you can't steer a parked car. You can't sit there in the midst of your troubles and decide that you're not going to do anything. You must not be frozen in the moment for long. You have to show a measure of faith in some capacity to give the Lord something to work with. Everything in the kingdom operates by faith. And if you're going to get on with it, you're going to have to get on with it by faith. I don't feel like it. I'm not sure where I'm going. But you have to get up and move. You have to do something by faith because the Lord honors faith. He is a rewarder of faith. God, I'm convinced the Spirit of God is just looking throughout the earth for people with just a little bit of faith. Just the faith, the seed of a mustard seed. Just faith that says, God's going to get me out of this. God's going to get me through this. I don't know how. I don't know who He's going to use. I don't know what He's going to do in the process. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to get there in the process. All I know is that God's going to get me out of this. That's seed faith in the Lord. That is putting my trust in man. That doesn't mean that I can't ask prayer warriors and people to come along beside me and agree with me in prayer. But sometimes you don't know what you need exactly. And a lot of times what you and I think we need in the midst of a situation is not what God knows we need. So what we need is to agree together that God's going to get me through this. He's going to lift me out of this. He's going to take care of this. Look at your neighbor and say, God's got this. God's got this. Healing occurs faster once we get on with life. A person who is confined to a bed or chooses to stay there gets bed sores, which only adds to the misery. Now, every nurse in here understands what that means. And if you've ever had to lie in bed for an extended season for whatever the reason, and you ever got a bed sores are horrible things. Because all you're wanting to do is at least lay in your sickness in comfort. But the very fact that you're not moving produces sores on your body that can become infected and incredibly painful and even dangerous. Do I dare take the spiritual application any deeper? You see, what doctors and nurses have come to understand over the last several decades is this, is the faster they can get an individual up after even major surgery, the quicker they're healing and the healthier they're going to be in the process. Now, it may hurt like crazy, but it is vital for the patient to do what the doctors and nurses are asking because it keeps the blood flowing. It keeps that incision, that cut, that surgery from forming a place in the body that's going to bend them over, that they'll never be able to stand up straight again without pain. So they get them up and get them going. If it's true in the natural, then it is true in the spiritual. When you and I are wounded in our spirit, when we are wounded in our soul, we get that sucker punch. Whatever it is that happens, we need to understand that, yes, we need some time to heal. Don't let anybody tell you you don't need time to heal. It takes time to heal. It takes time. Look, everything that the Lord puts in us, I believe that God just heals us immediately and we get up and go right on. I believe God heals immediately as well, but He heals in seed form. He saved you, but He didn't save you all at once. Now I'm going to mess with you with that one. When you received Christ as your personal Savior, you became a possessor of salvation. But that salvation, according to